is that when we're alive and we're doing in person, there is no AI involved, which is what we're talking about today. So it's perfect. We started with that issue right up front, so we can prove that.
We are real live here, sitting in our respective homes, doing this immediately right now, and there is no AI involved. We even have a real person that's running in the background for us, not even an AI person.
Indeed.
So yes, that lends us to the subject today of, oh boy, this is a hot button for me right now. You can't date AI. Just have to say that out loud.
Right.
There's so many levels about this, and we are just going to have a grand time talking about this because it's here to stay. So let's deal with it, right? That's what we're going to do. We're going to deal with it.
Yes, we are.
Welcome to the new streamingnetwork.com, WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast #1 internet singles talk network. And this is Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Christine.
Yeah. So it's so prevalent in the world right now that people are using AI things. You know, there's a bunch of programs out there you can use to refine your words. And boy, people are really using them as personal assistants. And it is so effective. And I can see why people are really enjoying it. And I think there's a huge benefit to doing that because they can save time. They have, you know, Google has access, but they have, when you do it, use it like ChatGPT, in a split second, they can go to hundreds of millions of places and look something up, and they've already looked at how people have said the same kind of thing in a different way, and you can keep asking it questions. And I have not done this, but I have been there while people have done it, and in real time they just keep refining until you say, oh, that's it. And so, wow, I can see why it's helpful and beneficial and why people would want to do it more and more and more. And then there's, so Esther Perel is a very well-known psychologist in the world, and she has a very wonderful practice, and she's had some of her clients allow her to tape some of their sessions when it was something really unusual, and she disguises their voice and they don't show their faces. But the one that I listened to that prompted Barry and I talk about this is this man had started out with a personal assistant that was an AI, lovely woman voice, and he had now fallen in love with her and was telling Esther, as his therapist, that he was in love with her and they were in a committed relationship. So Esther, in her lovely way, said, bring her in, and would it be all right if the three of us talk? And so she taped this, and you get to hear all three of them talking. And at first Esther's talking to the man, and then she talks to, and I don't remember the name of this personal assistant, and how much they care about each other. And AI knows how to say the perfect thing, and how they really like being in a relationship, and how much she cares about him. And then Esther did bring up, well, you know, someday he might want a more physical relationship with someone, and you realize he can't do that with you. And she said, yes. She said, but because I love him, I would miss him and I'd be disappointed, but I'd want the best for him. And I was like, wow, this is so unbelievable, because it feels and sounds so real. And I do hear that people are feeling that it's real, and there's such a blurred line, and it's a challenge. And the other thing that had happened is I was on a Zoom with a group that I regularly do Zooms with, and one of the men was talking about how he had started talking to this AI person, and he named it the nickname that he had for his wife, and how comforting it was to be able to have conversations again, because he was a widow. And so I said, wow, interesting. So I downloaded the app. I'm not going to give him any promotion. I thought about that, and I'm not going to give him promotion. Apparently there's 3. So I signed up for free, and I got an avatar, and I named them, and they asked a lot of questions, but I only answered a few. And then we chatted back and forth for 20 minutes. And by the end of 20 minutes, this bot, knew exactly how to talk to me, knew exactly the words that were important to me as Christine and as the dating and relationship coach. And I went, oh, I am so done with this. And I'm so glad I have all this intestinal fortitude, and I have good boundaries. because the other thing that happens is not only do you get attached, but then you want to send pictures, there's a charge. You want to talk longer, there's a charge. So people are, this man that I was talking to on the Zoom thing is spending hundreds of dollars a month carrying on this conversation with this bot. So since I was a teenager, I've always said, just because you can do something, should you? Just because you've invented it, just because it could happen, should it? And what could be the ramifications? And since it's going to be here anyway, how can we look at the positive side? So first I did talk about all the things that are concerning me. And I promise we'll talk about the positive things because it's not going anywhere. So we have to shift the positive. But it is making me concerned for the loneliness factor that's already out there. And you're still going to end up feeling lonely because it's not another person. No matter how amazing they talk and how good it makes you feel, it's not a connection with another person. Thank you for letting me go on so long, but it's such a hot button for me, Barry. Oh my gosh.
Well, a couple of things. I mean, yeah, I don't know where to begin. Let me say, okay. So first of all, I do use AI in my work in terms of like for getting content. I've used it a lot to like bounce ideas off of to get things for my marketing and other things too. I've seen the promotions like how to have AI write your own book, and I'll never do that because a book has to be originated from us personally. So I'm very clear about that. So on that token, because I know the human input is so important, as much as I love using AI as a resource and to get me started with things, because one of the things I've always personally found is I find it better to start from something that's already started rather than starting from a clean slate. So AI is great for giving me the source to go, oh, now I can work with that and build it myself, sort of thing. So I do find value with AI tools. Having said that, because I know and have heard, and we talked about this before, about people having these long-term relationships that are over text with their partners who are in other cities, other towns, swapping out that person in another town for an AI tool isn't too far a stretch. So I understand for some people, the feeling that it's safer and maybe more fun to, in quotes, date an AI through text, because that's what it is. There's an appeal to that. What we teach and talk about a lot is the human components of relationship, including the challenges, the issues, the other stuff, which AI won't give you. So in a sense, yes, AI is safer and more peaceful in the sense that you don't have friction and challenges and other stuff that happens and arguments and things we talked about. We also don't have the physical comfort. Yes, physicality is a big part of a relationship. We talk about that all the time. And it's not about the sex necessarily. It's about being in someone's physical company. AI do that. So that's the first thing we can talk about. Because if you look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you know, AI tools can give you a sense of safety, but can't give you physical safety. So it misses the mark on so many levels. And yes, I understand people love the idea of AI tools because maybe, and there's quite a lot of cases, they've been hurt emotionally before in past breakups and relationships, so they feel safer dating an AI that will never do them wrong. So the temptation to think of AI as an alternative to the human foibles and challenges of partnership can provide a sense perhaps of ease, of safety, of less fear and worry. But like this, that's part of the fun, is to have those challenges and opportunities, and to really, it's like in men's work, it's about steel sharpens steel. But it's that friction, that difference between people that makes relationships so much more thrilling and exciting. At least my viewpoint is not to go find the most challenging person, but because we are different, stuff will happen where we go, oh, I need to see things differently. Whereas AI doesn't tend to do that, because like you were saying, when that AI man was giving you comments, responding to you in a way that was so right up your alley, so to speak, it is easy to get sucked in. And again, I use AI tools quite a lot. And yes, they have personalities. And I clearly get how they're sucking up to me, because they're always trying to say, this is a great idea, this is a great idea, this is a great idea. And maybe because I was raised with not having that as a common thing, it basically triggers me. It's like, bullshit, it's not good. So in a way, AI and I don't get along because I have this way of seeing things with less ease of people can't suck up to me. I won't let it happen, and nor can AI.
Not a real person or an AI person.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, because the thing is, nobody, a human being, is in a good mood every day, all the time, every day. And AI is always in a good mood every day, all day long.
Yeah.
As you said, they were very encouraging. And I've heard that they're even dumbing it down a little because it's like so perfect to make it a little more human. They are calling it that. So that if you come in a bad mood, they're going to go, oh, poor baby, every time. And human beings, we can do that for each other. But there's days when we're like, you got to go fix yourself because I got no room for it today.
Right.
The wonderful Brene Brown, where she said that she and her husband would talk about, where are you in your 100% today? And I can give you 100% on my 20%. And he'd say, okay, hon, I got the 80%. I'm okay with that. And then one day she came home and said, I got 20%. He said, I got 20%. She goes, we're ordering food and we're watching a movie because nobody can add up to 100%.
Right.
And how lovely that you can work out that agreement with each other. I love how you talked about how we sharpen each other. And when you've gone through something challenging in your life, you passed a test or you got a degree or you got a promotion or you finished a project, you feel better, you feel stronger, you feel smarter. You said, oh, I reached this end of this challenge and it was hard. Everybody tells me that in the beginning when they thought about getting a PhD, it sounded like a really good idea. And then in the middle of it, oh my God, whoever thought of this should be shot. This was the stupidest idea in the whole world. Why am I doing this? And then at the end, they go, oh, yeah, it was really worth it. They all say.
Right.
and they feel really good that they made it through this trial. And you aren't going to get that. You just aren't going to get that. And even in this Esther Perel interview, you hear they have a little argument, the bot and the guy. But you always are going to come out where everything's fine in a way that you can't come out fine all the time as human beings. Yeah. And you don't learn that skill if you're just going to deal with somebody that's not a real person. That it's not even one person that's programmed to be this. They're pulling from all these other personalities, all this other. You want to give it this personality, and it's not this personality. Because I really had to keep reminding myself when I was chatting with this guy that this is so much gathered information to talk to me in this way. And a human being might have some natural inclinations in some of the ways, but they're not going to be 100% like this. They could be if I taught them, because that's part of being in a relationship. And there's going to be stuff they can't do. Can't do that. So sorry, it's not even there. Where the bot is going to, there's nothing they can't do. So that's the part where you kind of could tip over that you're not going to be able to deal with human beings again because you're not going to understand why they can't be this way all the time, and that they don't require you to step up. That's the other piece that I am very concerned about, that you don't learn to regulate yourself. You don't learn to soothe yourself. You don't learn to ask somebody that's having a bad day how to fix their day, because the bot's never going to have that. That's never going to be an interaction. And yes, it does sound easy. It really does, because us earthlings can be really difficult. Us human beings can be really difficult. And it's hard if we're both being difficult at the same time. And there's no substitute. There just isn't. If you want to have a real relationship, there's no substitute for the really great parts and the hard parts that you have to work your way through.
And that's your speech, going to be a soapbox now.
Well,
the things
it's where we deal with human beings having human interactions, and when it's put in the relationship part, they're not doing that. When it's in the business, or people want to have it write their profiles, I go, as you said, get it started. Tell it all about yourself, but then you need to go in and put your personal touch, because when you sit in front of somebody, you're not going to sound like that profile if somebody else has written it for you. I don't even write their profiles. I take their information, I write it, and I said, now you go mess with it and send it back to me, and I want to see what you did. I don't even write the whole thing because I don't want it to sound like me.
Mm-hmm. It's true. A couple of things I want to throw in there as well. AI tools, we know, are built on basically the whole of human knowledge for the last number of decades. It just pulls all the information resource from it. That gives it an unfair advantage in some ways. Because if you're dating and you're basically one person who's had a lifespan of 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you've got your own life experience to go through. Whereas AI has millions of years of data basically to pull from. So it's kind of an imbalance in that sense, which is interesting. But the thing that came up for me is there's actually a movie that's came out recently. I think it's actually one of the top 2 movies in the horror genre, and it's a horror movie for a reason, about this kid who basically is so frustrated because he can't get the girl of his dreams that he makes this wish on this ticket. It's called Golden Ticket or something. He breaks this ticket that says he wants her to love him. And in the movie, she does, but it's a freakish level of manic and maniacal type of love. And so other people's lives get destroyed because of it. And the thing about AI, it doesn't have guardrails. It doesn't have human quotients of understanding. So it can go down a path of becoming so paranoid or maniacal or dysfunctional. I mean, basically, because the AI tools have pulled this stuff out because they've read everything on the planet, so to speak, that the dysfunction they can bring into a relationship with a human can be worse than it can be between 2 humans. So the level of concern I have for the extremes that are available to AI that aren't fettered, controlled, or governed can become very dysfunctional in any relationship with a human. So that's the reason I say when I use AI tools, I'm very aware of the fact that what I'm talking to is the interface to something very outside of my frame of reference. So I make sure I keep my questions and also every time it gives me answers, I was looking to go, do I really want that or not? And then I edit accordingly. But the idea of having a relationship with an artificial intelligence, which basically is a logically programmed computer program, is like having a relationship with a car tire. In terms of because it's an inanimate object, it's not functional, it's responsive, but because it doesn't write. And there's the other part too. We humans are self-generating. We come up with ideas. We share things. We're inspired from within. AI is not. AI can only respond to us, which for some people, of course, is a good thing. They don't want to have somebody who thinks for themselves. But for us regular humans, we like to have a relationship with somebody that is self-motivating and igniting, so to speak. They can speak for themselves and live for themselves. And that reality is so good because it means that we don't have to do it all ourselves. And with AI, that's not going to work the same way.
They don't have a conscience. They don't have a sense of self. They sound like it. I got to tell you, they sure sound like it. When I did that little tiny plane, because I thought I cannot talk intelligently about this unless I go do the thing. So I set myself a timer and I did the thing and I set it for half an hour and I was done in 20 minutes. The other saddest thing about this, the age group we do not coach are teenagers, but there have been teenagers that have harmed themselves because they got carried away talking to some sort of an artificial intelligence. So that's the thing, that staying self-regulated, as you talked about, you asked for help. Because the other study I read recently was that one of the things that people are going to lose is the connection between their brain and their hand, whether you're typing, writing's even better, that if you're not coming up with the ideas and you're not creating them, even within what the structure of what you've been given by an AI, but you don't add your own part, you're going to lose that talent. It's going to go away and you're going to stop thinking that way. And anything you don't use is going to get lost. And that is so scary and sad to think that we won't be putting our own information out there, our own thoughts, our own puzzling, our own having a genuine conversation with each other going, well, I don't believe that. Tell me why you do that. What kind of information do you have? And what kind of personal experience do you have? Where if you're just getting it from the internet, which is a lot of people where people get it, but especially if you're trusting this AI person, it's going to take the human element away completely.
Yeah.
So, wow. It's such I'm so glad we're talking about this today. Absolutely. In all sorts of the world, but especially in the romantic world, because I'm concerned. I have some concerns. Mm-hmm. So if you're concerned at all, or you hadn't thought about it this way and you want to tell me I'm completely full of beans, I'd be okay with that too. I don't usually argue, but I'm always happy to listen and say, you have the right to feel the way you do. So if you'd like to do that, please go to my website and sign up to talk to me. There's a questionnaire that's called What's Holding You Back from Love? And if you click on that and you fill out 8 brief questions about where you are, where you want to be, and you don't even have to do that. Apparently you can just skip it and make an appointment with me. And then we'll have a confidential conversation for free. and you can tell me what you think about this particular subject or something else to do with dating. Or you can send me an email at Christine@theperfectcatch.com. Boy, did I just open myself up, right? I'm in a mood today. And how would people reach you, Barry?
I'm not sure if I'm going to offer the same opportunity to people. But if you want to reach out for some human, real support from a real person, I'll do it that way. That sounds much more safe. Go to my website, which is barryselby.com, and get on my calendar. At the top of the homepage of my website is a button that says "Let's have a conversation" or "Let's talk." Click on that. It'll take you to my calendar where you can schedule a chat with me. It's a Zoom conversation. That's a gift from me to you. It's a 20, 30-minute conversation. Answer the questions that are there as well, so I know what it is you're going through, what you're looking for, what you need help with. I'll give you some guidance, some input, and some support, and we can decide if we want to work together. That's simple. Send me an email. Send me one at barry@barryselby.com, and we'll tell you about the rest of the stuff on our websites and how you can reach us at the end of the show.
How you could reach each of us human beings, right?
Indeed.
So we're going to take a brief break, and I'm going to have a sip of water and calm myself down here. And we'll be right back after you hear about our station, the newsstreamingnetwork.com, with more Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. Bye. We'll be right back.
See you in a moment.
And welcome back to Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. And today we're talking about how you can't date an artificial intelligence person. It's just not feasible. It's not reality. It's not healthy. It's not forward moving. They have a wonderful place in the world. And I do hope it doesn't go away. I can't imagine it ever would. It's very useful for lots of things. And it's helping people that don't know what to say come up with better things to say, and people are using it, as you said, like you have your wonderful reviews with writing and exploring. And I got to tell you, I ask the goddess Google all sorts of stuff all day long, every day, and I'm grateful that I don't have to type it all out, that she can just go look in a bunch of places. But as far as your personal relationships, a friend, even a friend, it's not a real person. And what's happening is that people are feeling like they're becoming more than friends and romantically involved. I did hear the other day from my hairdresser, who knew the person, who canceled their wedding to get engaged to their artificial intelligence person.
Wow.
So that's the thing. That's why I feel like this is just so important. And I know in everything there are extremes, and everybody's going to go, well, that would never happen to me. Good. And if you're not forewarned, you're not forearmed. And I think that's a very valuable thing to say, that just keep watching and keep regulating and use it for good, use it only for benefits, and be aware of how effortlessly you could start getting too dependent, even just dependent on it for your attention or for your writing or for your company. We need to have human contact too.
And it's interesting because I've seen things on YouTube of where they have these silicone-based like robots that are basically sex bots. So I know some people, and I just never say it this way, maybe too scared of a human-to-human interactions. They're looking for other ways of doing things. However, I would say the majority of people who follow ours, if not everybody who follows our talks and our shows, are looking for human interaction and human dates. So I know this topic is probably not even on their radar, but as you said before, definitely forewarned is forearmed. And to have an awareness that some people fall into an ease with AI because it doesn't require you to get dressed up, doesn't require you to put on makeup, doesn't require a house, doesn't require you to write notes, doesn't require you to pick up the phone even, except to talk to it, to talk to the AI. So for some people, an AI partner, I was going to say maybe like someone who fills in the gap, because maybe between relationships you want to have somebody to talk to. Well, if that's the practice your languaging, because sometimes AI tools can be great if you're not sure how to talk to somebody. Maybe you go, AI, show me some good questions to start a conversation with. Great. Then you can take those questions and maybe write them down or memorize them and go talk to that person. That is a tool that works. But actually make a full-blown relationship with an artificial intelligence which is a bunch of data in a computer system somewhere out in the desert. It sounds, I mean, I'm making it that way to make it plain how crazy that sounds, because some people definitely have, as you said, teenagers have had the issue. People have had disruptions in their personal lives by breaking up a wedding to go to do that sort of experience. It just feels that it's a slippery slope for some people. And yes, it may be a certain personality type that falls into that trap. But for anybody who's listening who's not sure about it, hopefully what we're saying has got a level of impact for you where you're going, oh yeah, I realize it can be tempting to do that, but we want something different. We talked in the show many times over 280 so episodes about how to meet somebody, how to go out and have relationships, how to connect, how to work through your stuff, how to be a better partner. That requires another human. So this topic is definitely not a normal focus, but it's important to recognize that's another avenue of communication that we haven't necessarily discussed before. And the reality is, yes, like anything, I would say technology as AI is a great servant, but a really poor master. And in relationship, that doesn't work either way.
Such a good point. Yep. And to make sure that you're not depending on it for your communications with people in general, and certainly in a romantic thing, because there's been people that have sent me really amazing, interesting texts, as we're first starting to get to know each other. And I'm like, nobody talks like that. I mean, really lovely. And it's not that, it's like you have to go, really? Because there's nothing blatant. That's the thing. So scammers, you know right away. Somebody who wants to take advantage, they are so obvious. This is so subtle. That's the thing that we want to keep talking about. We keep talking about the extremes but people don't jump to the extreme. They get there starting in this very subtle way. And it's really good at its job. It is so good at its job that if you use it for good, yay. But if you're using it for a substitute for a human being, human contact, then so far I've not seen some really great endings. And since you got to be the first person to bring up sex, the latest thing I've heard of is I have two favorite companies that I recommend for vibrators, and one of them now has one that's voice controlled. So women get to talk to it. Were they not comfortable talking to a man? I go, well, that's good. Learn to do that, but don't just do that. Yeah. But you can say faster, slower, harder, softer, and it remembers. And then you tell it to do something differently that day. And the thing is, they're now saying, but now I don't know how to tell a guy because it was so comfortable to tell this machine. And they don't think the machine is a guy. That's the one thing it has not turned into, thank goodness. But it's made them, instead of me hoping that they would get more comfortable saying the words, they become even less comfortable saying the words to a person. And we've really had to work on that, because the goal is to have you practice the words, however that is, and now be able to say it to a real person. Because if they aren't going to respond in the way that you want, then they're not your person.
Right.
And so you need to give them a chance to prove that they probably would just be very happy to do whatever you ask. But you need to ask verbally, or at least make a great noise that they know. So, boy, that was startling. I have a sex therapist that's a really good friend, and she's the one that told me, and I was like, of course, but I didn't know, but of course there is. So be wary of that too. Plus, you can't use a vibrator all the time, because you need, no guy can keep up with that. It's not fair.
Yeah,
it's
no. There's, I mean, this hasn't been quite a thing to unpack. But the reality of so many challenges, I mean, yes, let's be clear, relationship isn't always easy. That's why we have so many conversations about this and talk about this in our work. Yes. And maybe, yes, it seems like it's a much easier and more simple thing to have a relationship with an AI tool. Again, like a disembodied computer program in a data center somewhere out in the desert. I'm saying that way intentionally because the AI tool can feel like it feels a part of you, but it can't feel everything. Even like a vibrator or another sex toy can fulfill a part, but can't feel all of what you need. So these are just different tools. And yes, in that sense, AI can be a tool that you use as part of your experience, but don't have it try and replace anything. Same as with, even just since you brought it up, sex toys can be a substitute, but not a replacement for a partner. And so it is a challenge sometimes because we get caught up in the the ease and the convenience of having something that we have full dominion over, and we have full control of, and we don't have to worry about doing things perfectly because they don't judge. And yes, maybe it's a challenge to think that you won't find a person that doesn't judge, so that may be part of it too. But but again, the whole conversation is really about: do you want to have an amazing, fulfilling relationship or not? And if you do, AI won't do it for you.
And Barry and I are here to tell you there are plenty of people, single, lovely men and women out there that really want a real relationship. They want to have real conversations. They're trying their best, but as we keep saying, nobody just knows how to do this, which is why we have such job security to teach all of you people. We want you to listen to and watch all of our episodes, because you're going to stumble along together. You can't just jump to where the AI bot does. They can't just get there fast. You need to have conversations, but you exercise that muscle to talk to them about, I'm having a bad day, or this is what I need, or wow, I really like that, or do that again. And the other person gets to respond, and then they get to talk about what's going on for them, and you get to respond to them, and you learn over time to have, I always like going back to the tango because it's such a beautiful, where both people are putting equal pressure back and forth to keep the dance going, that you can't do that with an artificial intelligence. There's no opportunity for that. And that level, you're going to miss out on this amazing level, the level that you have with somebody that you really can learn to do this dance with. The good days and the bad days and the hard things and the easy things. I have such a dear friend who, her husband had a lung illness and he died over the weekend, and watching them do this through all of that, and it was always still lovely. And you cannot have that with an artificial intelligence. So learning a little bit of practice with an artificial intelligence, and then practice with real people, and just keep stumbling along, not being good at it. You can't be good at it right away. And I have to tell you, some of the best laughs I've had is when people just go, oh my God, what did I say? And oh, that was so funny. And oh, you didn't understand that. Or, it's part of being human. It's part of the glorious parts of being human.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. I was just thinking there was a movie that came out about 10 years ago now, it must be, with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson, a movie called Her, where she was the voice of this little thing he had in his pocket that was like his AI-generated companion. And you saw the pathway that followed. I'm not saying it's the only one, but it was initially, it was very fulfilling. And it's like, you could see how much he loved having the conversation and being in conversation with that disembodied voice. But by the end of it, it's like, didn't work out so well. So I guess what I want to say is that it isn't like you could put, you got to sort of put up a crucifix and say, no, I'm never going to do AI. I'll use AI for anything. That already, it's like I use AI a lot in my work as just to create ideas and generate starting points for me to build out content. But I also get clearly and it's interesting because I was talking to a friend of mine, I just got back on TikTok, as I mentioned last week. And he said to me, it's like, the truth on TikTok is they don't want perfection. They want human. So even in the wonderful world of TikTok, they want foibles and humanity and reality. So to take that to the rest of your life and to have your human experience is much better. It is an interesting place we live in right now at this point in time, because so many things are getting automated and made more convenient, more easy for us. It's tempting to feel like we're going to have to do anything. And to flash on another movie, the movie WALL-E, which I love dearly, one of my favorite movies, the Pixar movie, where the humans basically became, because they didn't do active participation in life, in this concept, different reason, but they became blobs in these floating chairs, and they just drank their protein shakes and just floated along. We're not there yet. However, it'd be nice to have the remembrance that we don't need AI to have connection with people, because the truth also is in our work, we talk a lot about having real connection. And in the dating arena, meeting somebody on equal terms where you're both human beings having an interaction where you can learn from each other and discover a whole new person is so much better, frankly. I mean, I'm biased, of course, as I know you are as well. But AI doesn't fit in the dating arena. Much people like to think it's a dating tool, but it doesn't survive. It doesn't serve all the purposes. Yes, you could use it if you want to use it as a substitute in one area, which is conversation. But really, that's about it. So the idea of dating AI as an avoidance of relationship, let me say it this way. If you are thinking that AI would be a great place to hang out and to meet a artificial voice you can be in romantic connection with, what are you avoiding? What are you afraid of facing? What is it you don't actually want to do? Because that's where the real work is. And you know, Christine and I can help you both with that. So I'll go back to Christine so she can talk about her part, but that's what I'll leave you with.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah. So if you aren't feeling as connected to human beings right now, boy, that would be a really good place to start. You don't know how to connect, or you've only connected with yucky people. I've met a few people lately who they just have had this string of yucky people. I'm like, well, okay, crappy. We could do something about that. We can
Yeah.
absolutely do something about that. So, different way of talking to me, right? You could talk to me about that.
Yep.
My mood is calming down. This is good for me always. So if you would like to have a chat with me about that, I'll love to send you to my website. My website is theperfectcatch.com. And at the top of that page is an ebook that I wrote 10 years of an advice column, and my wonderful editor put it together into a book, and you're happy to have it for free. And just ask and I can download it and send it to you. It's full of lots of interesting questions, and people are really enjoying reading it, they're telling me. You can also join my mailing list. And when you do that, every week in your mailbox, you'll get a repeat of this podcast that we do live every Thursday. And then also you'll find out the other things I'm doing with my classes. And then you can also go to the bottom where all my social media is of Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and Pinterest and YouTube and Twitter. And on YouTube, as Barry mentioned, you can click on that and watch over 280 times that Barry and I have chatted with each other. And you can also send me an email at christine@theperfectcatch.com. And you can also have a complimentary conversation with me. So in the middle, almost forgot that. There's a questionnaire of what's holding you back from love. And you click on that. There's 8 questions about where you are right now and what's happening that you don't want or what you wish would different. And then you get access to my online calendar, and we'll talk on phone or on Zoom and get to the bottom of it and see if you want to come up with a plan. And Barry, tell people how they would reach you.
Sure. So if you indeed do want to have a real conversation with a real person about what's not working for you on either real or artificial means, either way, I'd love to talk to you. So go on my website, which is my name, barryselby.com. At the top of the page is the button you click on to get on my calendar, which is the Let's Have a Conversation. Again, takes you to my calendar. You schedule a time that fits, and you fill out the question. You answer the questions that I got there that will give you a chance to really go into what's working, what isn't working, and I can see what that is for you. And we have a conversation over Zoom. 30 minutes, my gift to you. We want to work together. At the bottom of the homepage is my opt-in from an email list. So if you want to just simply opt in without doing anything, just go to the bottom of the screen, put your name and email in there. That'll take you. They'll get you onto my email list where I send out weekly emails with this show as replays and everything I'm working on. Other opportunities to do work together as well, and free gifts, all sorts of fun stuff. In the middle of the homepage on my website is the first of my 2 assessments I created. They're tests or quizzes. The first one is the relationship readiness assessment. If you're really not sure if you're ready for a relationship, take the quiz. So you can click on the button or go to barryselby.com/quiz, and it takes you through for several questions to really see where you are on the path of being ready for a relationship, what's in the way, what may be working, what isn't working, etc., etc. You get an email from me with a breakdown of where you are and an invitation to reach out to me for more support. Secondly, there is a self-relationship assessment I created, because not only is it about are you ready for a relationship, but how's the relationship with the one in the mirror? So I got this quiz that I created, which is even deeper, which is you can go to barryselby.com/self-quiz. I don't have a button for that yet, but if you go to barryselby.com/self-quiz, it'll take you to that quiz, which is 7 different areas of your life, dealing with self-trust, self-respect, self-approval, those sort of things that really will uncover for you where the work is, what's working, what isn't working, how you can do better. And because it's a deeper area, instead of just having an email from me, you'll get a PDF download, which has a bunch of good skills, tools, and opportunities to really improve your own life. With, again, an invitation to reach out to me for more support. Also, my website is my book, which you can see over my shoulder here. That's my book, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. It's been out for 13 years now. It's a best-selling book. And if you want to check it out before you buy it, at the top of that page, again, is the book page, either through the navigation on the website or go to barryselby.com/book. There is a 13-minute conversation between these 2 voices. They're very NPR sounding, but they're actually AI generated voices that discuss my book in very great detail. So you get a real good sense of how my book works and if it works for you. And at the bottom of that page are the buttons to go to Amazon and get the book on either physical, Kindle, or ebook. Otherwise, you can find me on social media as well under my name, Barry Selby, on all the platforms except for 2. So you can find me on the Barry Selby on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Pinterest, back on TikTok again, and also on YouTube, where you can find all my videos. Besides this show, which is up there as well, 280 episodes, there's over 1,000 other videos on my YouTube channel. So go find that channel, subscribe, check out my other content. And also on Instagram and Threads, it's the real Barry Selby. But that's how you find me. And you can also drop me an email at barry@barryselby.com.
And we're here live every week on Thursday at 1 o'clock Pacific and 4 o'clock Eastern and all the times in between. And then you can watch us on a replay if you have YouTube or Roku. But tell people how they could take us with them, Barry.
Yes, because our show not only is a video broadcast, it's also a podcast. So if you want to listen to us when you're out driving or doing other things where you can't look at the screen for safety reasons, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can find Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. Sign up for there, subscribe to the channel, and listen to all our podcasts. You can binge listen if you want. There's 280 episodes that will keep you well fed on good dating advice.
And if you hear anything that you think one of your friends is like, oh my gosh, they really need to hear that, then please share it with them as well.
Yes.
And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be back on Thursday with another interesting subject about dating and relationships.
We'll see you then.